Hey guys, welcome to the part 4 of this playlist. We are looking at Azure 420. This is primarily focused on Cosmos DB. If you see this, Cosmos DB, and this is called designing and implementing cloud native applications using Cosmos DB. The cost of the certification is $165, and these are the topics that are covered in this certification, and these are the percentage split. Okay, right now English language is on. The last update was on Feb 6, 2023. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. This channel has been very useful for so many people. They have cleared AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Snowflake certifications. You can click the join button. There is a link in the description as well, and you can go for cloud kernel membership. There are so many questions posted there. Let us jump into the questions. See, you have a container, and the container is storing data about families like parents, children, pets in separate documents. If you are not from the NoSQL world or key value store world, remember that the data is stored in terms of documents. It may be JSON documents. So each document contains address of each family. Members of same family share the same partition key. So the partition key is on family ID. Please note this: the partition key is on family ID. You want to make sure that, like, if people in a family, they should have the same address. You want to make sure, and the solution should be ACID compliant. In the database world, ACID compliant is something which is very important. That means if I fire an insert now, you should be able to see that record. It should be ASAP, very fast. And we want lowest latency. Okay, how to achieve it out of these options? Option A suggests to use patch operation, and you update the documents of each family member separately. So if you want to update partial documents, then you use patch operation. Here we have no requirement to update partial documents because each document contains the address of each family. So these are separate documents and partial update is not required. Option B tells you that you update the document separately and maintain a consistency level to strong. Okay. See, I have a better option. I want to use transactional stuff because it provides ACID compliance, atomicity, consistency, durability, and this is how it is done. You have transactional batch operations and stored procedures. You have choice of different language options using SDK. You can do code versioning. You have better performance and content serialization. So in this case, option C would fit in well because it will adhere to both the requirements. It will be first of all ACID compliant, and then it will provide lowest latency. See, here you're dealing, this is the next question. Here you're dealing with IoT devices. The data from the IoT devices comes in. You have to store this data. The writes from the devices will occur every second. This is a sample data, how the data is coming through. Okay. Now, what partition key would be apt for writes? These are the requirements. You want to minimize the partition skew means like the partition should be kind of equal. If you have 5 partitions and if you have 500 rows, try to spread 100 rows each in each of these partitions. It should not happen like one partition has 300 rows, second partition has 10 rows, fourth partition has 2 rows, and it should not be that way. Second is you should avoid capacity limits, and you should avoid hot partitions. See, what is a hot partition? It is not a good thing. First of all, it is inefficient. Second thing is how it gets created. If you have a partition key design that does not distribute requests evenly, so what happens is in some places the maximum hits will happen and that area will become hot, that partition will become hot. So it is not a good thing. You want to avoid that. What should you do? So first option says we will create a new synthetic key and we will have device ID and timestamp as the key. That means we will have device ID which is unique, and they will have a timestamp, a combination of these two which will be unique. Okay, so that way the partition will not be skewed, it will not have capacity limits, it will not be hot partition. So this should work. Option A should work. Now option B is saying that you use timestamp as a partition key. If you use timestamp as partition key, what if a lot of data comes between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m.? So that partition will become really hot. So many hits will happen. And what if 10 to 11 there are no data sets coming in from that? So this is not a good way of partitioning it. That's why this is wrong. C says use device manufacturer as a partition key. Now device manufacturer, what if only 2 types of devices have been used, Contoso and something else? You see here, this device manufacturer, I'm highlighting this. So device manufacturer is not changing much. Basically, when you have IoT device, that is a manufacturer, you would take it from one or two manufacturers, so that will not change. So if you just have like two manufacturer, two partitions, then you cannot avoid hot partitions. So this is wrong. And D is telling use sensor value as partition key. Again, if I use sensor values, if I suppose you use sensor value 1, it is either true or false. But if I use sensor value 2, you see it can be anything. The numbers can be 1, 5, 10, 20, 1000, 2000, 100k, and so on. So it will just create so many small partitions. Too many partitions, not good. That will cause your capacity limits and partition skew as well. So A looks correct here because the combination of device ID and timestamp should work to meet all of these three requirements that you have. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. So many people have cleared certifications. This is very important. This channel is dedicated to AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Snowflake certification. So many people have passed their certification. Do not wait anymore. Take this opportunity and clear the certification. This brings us to the end of part 4. We are working on DP 420. Click the join button, become a Cloud Kernel member at a very small premium. You can gain access to so many important questions. Stay tuned, stay focused.